good time for you.
Yeah, it has come at a very good time because camp was excellent. Every player deserves to play, and then the group was very, very good on the pitch and off the pitch with each other. So it's very easy to trust them. We always want to prove ourselves, but I think it's our first away match together. It's a good occasion to step up, and I think we're ready for that.
We know what it's going to be like here. Many of your players have been here and experienced it, whether it's club level or in whatever scenario. You know, are you ready for that? You know, this could be very hostile.
Yeah, but listen, if you play Premier League, I know some places in Premier League where it's also pretty hostile if you come as an away team. I know places in Champions League, Europa League where, yeah, it's pretty hostile and emotional. So I think our players are well prepared for that. We will hopefully grow in an atmosphere like this and show our character and show our quality, because I still think that we are used to these kind of atmospheres.
The match programme tonight, the head of the federation has asked supporters to behave. We know that the capacity is reduced because of previous discriminatory and racist events. Are you ready for all eventualities?
Yes, we are. We know about the protocol. We hope that we don't need it, that everyone respects the game and respects the opponents and respects the players, first of all. And I truly believe that this is possible. If it's not possible because of some individuals, we know about the protocol and we will follow the protocol.
That was Thomas Tuchel speaking to John Murray, and we'll get into the details of that and the atmosphere that the players could experience later tonight, what that protocol would be that they were talking about there. But first, let's talk about the football. Phil, while there's been criticism of the style of play that England have shown throughout this qualifying campaign, and as we've said before, that there have been reasons for that, there's also been a sense that Tuchel doesn't know his best team. Do you think that's true? And if it is true, is it reasonable for him still not to quite be sure who the best starting 11 is at this stage?
This makes me chuckle all the time, because if we play the same 11 all the time, the people that are in form at the clubs that are doing really well don't get the opportunity to play for England and see if they can, you know, find the connections and play well with other players. But then if we do mix it around, we look disjointed and we're not getting the chemistry in the team. So you're sort of damned if you do and damned if you don't. And again, that's the whole thing about being an international manager. You only get a certain amount of occasions, whether it be training or whether it be games, to look at different options and potentially play players with each other. But again, the clock is ticking. We're going to have qualified soon enough for a major tournament, and we could do with knowing what our best 11, 12, 13 players are and giving them time. Again, obviously we need plan Bs and Cs if people get injured or there's a little bit of loss of form. But I think sometimes if you look at should we call it a little bit of a lesser nation that have only got a pool of players of 15, 20 players, it's the same pool probably for a decade, let alone every season, and you can pick the strongest team time and time again. You know, when you're looking at an England squad, you know, anything from the start of season now where there's a couple of obviously camps, and then you wait till after Christmas, there could be 10, 15 different names, you know, with the form of some players and the loss of form or the injuries. So I do feel sorry for him, because he's obviously trying to give people game time and minutes to maybe stake a claim, rightly so, on the form for the club. Whether that means they'll do enough to potentially get on that plane and make it to the World Cup and nail down a position, we don't know. And then you're sort of taking away game time of putting the people that you think you're going to play together to get that chemistry. So I'm pretty glad myself that I'm not the England manager and I have to make all these decisions. But that's sort of what makes it really, really tough. But end of the day, that's obviously what he's paid for, and that's why he's been brought in.
Yeah, it's a difficult line to tread, Paul, because, you know, as Phil was saying, Thomas Tuchel trying to pick players who are in form while still giving the players that he wants to rely on as he gets into the tournament the time that they need to adapt to his style of play at England. But also, one of the criticisms of Gareth Southgate was that far too often he went for the tried and tested over bringing in form players. So it's a really difficult balance to strike.
We're all England managers though, aren't we? We've all got opinions and we all know what we would pick. And, you know, supporters, media, pundits alike, we all have our own opinions, and that's the thing with the national team. It's never changed, and it always will be the same. And Thomas Tuchel, before this, he spoke about his long list. He wanted to narrow it down. He didn't want such a big pool of players. And actually, you look at the squad that he's got now, and we're not even talking about Jack Grealish, Phil Foden, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Jude Bellingham, who's injured. So there's 4 or 5 of his so-called better players, if you like, that if they're in form, would be knocking on his door.
I think you could probably throw in a few more as well, Paul, couldn't you? Did you mention Saka there?
And Saka, yeah.
Saka,
Wharton.
Yeah, Phil Foden. I think Ben White as well. We keep talking about Ben White potentially coming back. Levi Colwill, who's got an injury issue. John Stones, who's not here. Adam Wharton, who had to withdraw from this squad. And I think, you know, when you look at the selections that he's made, and this is his 6th selection, he has made, Thomas Tuchel, 4 changes, 5 changes, 9 changes. That was for the friendly against Senegal. Then 7 changes and 4 changes. But I think that's pretty much run-of-the-mill. I think that's what you expect in international football, as many changes as that.
Yeah, I wonder, Dano, if, I mean, as John said, you do make a lot of changes, or managers do make a lot of changes in international football. But also the depth that you would think might be an asset could potentially be a problem here.
Yeah, I agree with you that, you know, in actual football terms, there isn't much time for Thomas Tuchel, who continues to tinker. You know, there are only 6 games left after this one. I sometimes think about his consistency as well, that, I mean, yes, he's still getting to know players. I think England are reliant on Harry Kane to a worrying degree, that there's nobody putting him under pressure. So when Harry Kane decides to drop away, and you talk about the options that he's got and the riches, but who's his right back? Who's his left back? If John Stones is not fit, who's then going to partner Mark Gahey in the centre of defence? Who will then be that holding midfielder? He's talked about Adam Wharton. Anderson obviously impressed against Andorra. And then who plays on the left side of midfield? So I would say that you're still looking at 5 places that are up for grabs, because Pickford, Gahey, Rice, Bellingham, Saka and Kane, if fit, are all certain starters come next June.
Serbia against England is on the way in less than 15 minutes. We'll talk about Serbia as well very shortly. Wales are also in friendly action tonight, but they'll be looking to continue their impressive run of form. Canada are in Swansea off the back of a difficult World Cup qualifying win in Kazakhstan, although their results up to that point had some really impressive wins in it. Kick-off at 7:45. Commentary of this one's going to be on Sports Extra, and keeping us up to date on 5 Live, it's Molly Stevens. Hi, Molly.
Hello there, good evening, Kelly. Welcome to Swansea, where Craig Bellamy takes charge of an international friendly for the first time as Wales's men play their first match here in 5 years. They face tough opponents, Canada, managed by former Leeds boss Jesse Marsh, who are ranked 3 places higher than Wales. Bellamy has rung the changes from the Kazakhstan win. Only 3 players retain their places in the starting lineup. Those are captain Ben Davies, fellow defender Nico Williams and attacking midfielder Harry Wilson. Right back Ronan Capaccio makes his Wales debut from the start. There's also a first start for Leeds United's Charlie Crew, who's on loan at Doncaster Rovers.
Molly, thank you very much for that. Now, tonight's match with Serbia is going to be the toughest test that Thomas Tuchel has faced in his time as England manager. Serbia have only lost 1 of their last 24 World Cup qualifiers. That was 3-2 to Austria, and that was in October 2017. Their record at home is excellent. They've only lost 1 of their last 28 home World Cup qualifiers since September 2001, and that was a 3-0 defeat by Belgium in October 2012. BBC Serbia's Slobodan Maricic joins us now. Slobodan, good evening.
Hi, hello.
Hello. So talk to us about Serbia and the goals that they are scoring, or rather not scoring. It's 4 in their last 3 2026 World Cup qualifiers. So could this be a tight game, do you think?
Well, it definitely can be. As you mentioned, Serbia has lost, hasn't scored much goals, but at the same time, that coin has an other side. Serbia hasn't won a big match here at this stadium from 1988 against France. So we've played against Spain, against Portugal, Italy, Spain, and